What's up, guys? I am finally getting seat time in a Supernova. Huge shout out to Charles Weigel, who is the New York regional Dagger ambassador they just added to the team. He's been amazing getting me one because the team has them, but a lot of retailers don't that were supposed to Dagger. And it's been amazing. You know, one of the things that any of these manufacturers putting out a full slice have to face is that the boats gotta be better than what you can find out of somebody's barn. It has to be, both outfitting and performance, it has to be better. And Snowy and the Dagger team absolutely cleared that bar easily, just easily. So I'm gonna go through, show you a bunch of the footage, stick around. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the boat after, but full review coming. This is just basically a first impressions. Well, I've never run the Ottawa in a full slice before, so let alone a full slice I've never paddled before. Let's see if I throw some unintentional ends. Oh, so far so good. Oh, somebody's on corner. Oh, bud. Oh, bud. right, so we're in my shop, which has beautiful, nice, even lighting, so you can really get a sense of the shape of this boat. It is very much a Dagger, and what that means is it's swoopy, swooshy. It has kind of the trademarked stern, the arrowhead stern, which makes for beautiful surfing and a really nice feel. But what you'll notice immediately compared to a lot of older style playboats is right here. You have a lot of width and just the right amount of volume behind the stern to where the boat balances beautifully, and you have something to work with when you're running the river. So you don't get tail popped unintentionally very often. You feel in control a lot of the time. The other thing that you are getting, obviously, is a full creaking turnout in here. This is the same seat that you get in a Code or a Phantom. All they did is just modify the front pillar system to work in a shorter boat. Everything else is the same. So the boat is stiff. It's super nice. The best thing about it, though, might just be the foot block system. So these plastic pieces are something that you would find in an Ultrafuge. And I never really got what the point was, but in this iteration, it makes so much more sense. This foot block is actually my favorite foot block system that I have ever used. And I pulled it out to template it off and cut templates out of other old pillars and stuff to put in my other boats, in my fleet of old school stuff that I paddle. What's super cool is that if you are shoving this front piece super far forward, it actually starts to wrap, and it gives you a super sweet toe cup to put your toes all the way into, where you're not touching the side of the boat, and you kind of are able to push and pull going both ways. So just as an overview, this thing's gorgeous. I'm gonna go into my stack of OG boats and just do a lineup across this table so you can see how it stacks to other things. The only thing I don't have is Delirious, in terms of kind of the classics. And I will say we had a Delirious next to it this weekend, very similar in the paddler platform area. The ends are obviously very different. The Delirious swoops down here, doesn't really pack as much volume, but in terms of the oval shape around the paddler that gives a real sense of confidence, very similar. We should probably talk about the hull for a second too, right? You might want to know about that. So, very classic Dagger style of hull. The white kind of is hurting seeing it, but there you go. So the chines are really what's different. They are quite sharp, but again, kind of like the Code, they're tucked, right? They're hiding down in here. So what that allows it to do is have them when you want them, but then if you're on a wave and you just want to kick a spin, off it goes, right? There's nothing to engage. They come nice and far back. This lets you really have something to dig on when you're surfing, but they also are soft enough at the ends where they're releasing. I was a little worried about that when I first looked at this. Would this actually release and not be grabby? It's perfect. I think unless you're heavy in one, you're really not going to notice any problems. All right, so I switched over to the DSLR to get rid of a little bit of the fisheye, give you a more representative look. Starting from the left, that's obviously a XXX, Ultrafuge, Super Nano, Super Ego. So you quickly get a sense, just looking at these three, of the Dagger legacy I was talking about. Very similar in their approach, curves. You will immediately notice the Nova is sporting significantly more bow rocker. It's actually relatively shorter than the other boats. Definitely you're going to be able to spot some of that width I was talking about in the back, but you can also see how it is relatively short compared to the Super Ego, and what that's going to do is make a lot of that slicing much easier. The Supernova is much more playful than a Super Ego, but with that added rocker, it's also a better river runner. I tossed in the iconic XXX just because it is iconic, and to give you a sense when we look at sterns where we all shake out. So you can see the XXX is a lot more stern rocker, very thin, compared to where we're winding up with everything else. Let's see those bows again. So, very much a modern design in terms of how the paddler sits as well. You can really see the XXX, the Ultrafuge, how low your legs have to be. There's very small knee pocket, even modified with new thigh hooks. Your legs are almost straight. Whereas the Supernova and the Ego are going to have knees up high. So definitely also just a comfortable boat. It was very easy to be in it for a couple hours, not really notice. The Supernova is the first full slice since the Super Ego. There was the id series in there, but I'll toss a photo up. To me, they're sort of between a spud and a full slice. They're not a true full slice. But I have to say, the Nova beats the pants off of it very easily. Now, one thing I would like to say about the Nova is there is a catastrophic flaw in the boat to me, and that's the grab handle situation. If you look at all the old school boats, handle, 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 right? No handle. So I chased down a swimmer on the Ottawa, and she had no grab at all. Could not get a hold of my boat. I could not help her in the run out of McCoy's because she couldn't grab onto anything. And it's the same story, maybe even worse in the bow. This is a double-edged sword. It's very easy to tie the Nova to your roof because the handle's in the right spot for that. But for actual swimming situations, nothing. One of the main things people are basically going to be looking for is an excuse not to pay modern day retail for a full slice boat. So here's what you get if you're willing to shell. Okay, so first of all, the plastics today, much better. It's not even a question, especially compared to what they were using in the early 2000s. This stuff is flimsy, easy to poke holes in, all the above. But if we just look at the outfitting, thigh hooks, not bad. Seat track, basically what you might find in a playboat. But this is as I bought this boat. So yes, I got it for 150 bucks with a sweet $20 Walmart paddle. Score. But this is all that's in it, right? A super flimsy seat, no back band. It's been scavenged. It needs a rebuild. You know, minimum a new back band ratcheting system, but you know me, I'm gonna do the full 9 yards. So it needs hours of work. Even if you lucked out, this is the seat that came out of my other Super Ego, and they actually had all the bibs and bobs glued in well enough that they stayed here for 20 years. Okay, great. All I've got is a dinky, flimsy seat that side attaches. There's no actual structure. This adds to the boat the way the creaking setup does. So that is gonna oil can. This probably won't. So just in case you don't believe me, 2 15-pound weight stacks, only 15 pounds, right? Maybe a tenth of what you weigh. Here's the deflection. No deflection. Right? So imagine if you actually hit a rock with that sucker, what it's gonna be doing. So without saying too much, when Snowy and I were talking about the code, we obviously talked a little bit about the Nano 2 because it had just been released in prototype. And the thing I said was, I think what the world needs is something between a Ego and a Nano. This is the Eskimo Nano. So if you're a Waka fan, this would be as close to a Waka full slice as there's ever been. Kenny designed it. This boat rips. It is absolutely fantastic. It's beautifully balanced. It's just not modern. It doesn't have modern shines. It doesn't have modern outfitting. But the concepts of it are utterly fantastic. And what I said was, if you're somewhere between the Super Ego and the Nano, you're gonna be sweet. So here it is. You can see, adjusted for comfort, but we're in the same basic area as far as the bow is concerned. And where the rubber hits the road, the stern, and the way that the Nano holds volume gives you tons of control. Spoons, feels incredible on the stern. Oh, hey, Trouble. There you go. Super, super similar. So I'm super stoked on that. I absolutely love the feel and the way the Nano works. It definitely comes across in the Nova, even though, you know, medium and a large, but super, super cool. I will say the one thing I was really hoping for was they would do the chop. Just take a circular saw and the last 3 inches, because in my mind they don't do anything. Obviously that did not happen, but it's actually a very short stern, so you will get tons of shallow water play, more so than you would in a Super Ego in a Nano. Plus, again, very soft plastic. This boat is going to wear like iron compared to those. And just in case you were wondering what I was talking about with the template, there you go. So not only is it the general shape, but then the onion cuts as well. Done. Throw it in a corner, have it if you need it. All right, that's it. That was a lot of shop talk. I hope that satisfied the other boat nerds out there. I gotta go load up because even though I bought that beautiful third shift for myself, apparently it's Hannah's now. So yeah, off to do more testing. Let's go creaking in this thing.